Whew. Good morning, family. As usual, Black love, Black pride, Black power. You have to know yourself to love your people. Oh, and don't get mad. You get right. With that being said, before I begin, I want you all to like, comment, subscribe, share. That's the big thing. Subscriptions help so that you can keep updated on the videos. Hit that notification bell. Um, but sharing is really how I accomplish my goal of getting this information to as many other brothers and sisters as possible. So I know y'all all know somebody who could hear what I have to say. So please just share it. Um, with that being said, excuse me, this video is going to be a little lengthy, and that's because I don't have a video editor on this new laptop. So I won't be able to trim out certain parts, and I won't be able to insert certain things and stuff like I would normally like to do in order to keep, my videos more on the lower of the minute side. So y'all gonna get all the blooper reels today, okay? Um, with that being said, before I jump into the topic, I just want to let you guys know that the link to my business Instagram, which is going to be referenced a couple times in this video, is in the description box, as well as the link to my Teespring account is going to be in the description box as well. All the t-shirts and stuff that I sell, all the business that I get with my independent business, that money is going towards me getting an RV so that I can travel the U.S. with my business and be more accessible and available to Black people around the country with the products and services I provide. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a natural vegan chef. I do cooking lessons, catering, workshops. I show people how to start growing their own food. I have my own frozen food line and storage foods as well as a whole bunch of other stuff in general, natural health, education. And I also do cannabis infusion as well. So, if you want to know more about that, following my business Instagram would help, and hitting me up in my DMs or in the comment section here. And if you want to support and things like that, I also do a lot of work with Black youth in particular, but Black people period, on raising, consciousness, giving them that history, knowing who they are, this, that, and the third. That stuff is incredibly important, and I do work with that as well, and I do it in conjunction with my business. For example, the last time I had a pop-up stand at Leimert Park, I also created these games to get people involved on their revolutionary and pro-Black trivia and things like that. I have a couple of games that I've designed, and I've got more coming. As an educator, you got to stay creative on how you connect with the youth and connect with the people and give them knowledge and information. So if you're down with the vision, if you fuck with what I'm trying to do, or if you just want some fly ass t-shirts, or whatever the case may be, then donating or contacting me and getting t-shirts via my Teespring, or using my business and actually patronizing my business is going to help us get very far as a people, because this is who I do it for. With that being said, it kind of segues into, it definitely segues, I'm not just plugging myself, y'all, it segues into today's topic. I'm still out here in Georgia, and I have booked this event. I'm going to be catering a 3-day wellness retreat out here, and I'm getting my cookbook ready so that the women who eat at the retreat can also at the pop-up shop purchase my cookbook if they want to continue cooking a lot of the foods that I made, or, continue with their healthy lifestyle that they've gotten introduced to via me catering this event for 3 days. With that being said, we're working on this cookbook. I know it's long overdue. People have been on my ass about cookbooks since I was a teenager, and I'm finally getting her done, and this is not going to be my official full cookbook, because that one I want to have between 60 and 100 recipes, probably closer to the 100 side. This one's going to have about 25 recipes in it, and it's going to be my intro cookbook. Anyways, I was working on the foreword, and that's how I came across what I wanted to talk about. Because as I was writing the foreword, I'm like, oh shit, I should do a video on this. So this is what I'm doing. With that being said, in my foreword, I refer to myself as an energy alchemist. And I didn't even know what alchemists were or what alchemy quite was. I had some ideas, but I didn't know for sure until I got out here to Georgia, and this brother at this black owned and operated raw vegan wrap shop called Tassili's. If you ever on the west side of Atlanta, go to Tassili's, tell them Aunty Jai sent you, and at least a couple of them is going to know who you're talking about. But yeah, he was trying to get on. And he asked me for my number. We were chopping it up, casual chopping it up, because I'm not looking right now. And he had referred to me as an alchemist. And I'm like, oh, Lords, I really hope he ain't one of these weirdo niggas out here. Because, you know, there's brothers out here who be on some crazy shit, just ridiculous shit. Like, I once met that's another funny story. I once met this one brother who was like, oh, I'm the reincarnation of Jeb, and you're new, and, you know, just shit like that, you know? And I'm not here for it. I'm not. So I was like, before I get all into, you know, a set way and whatnot, before I just write this brother off as just a weirdo, crazy nigga, let me find out what alchemy is and what it means. And I had asked him, I was like, what you last time you talked to me, you called me an alchemist. What did you mean by that? And he was like, well, you cook. And alchemy is like, you know, being able to manipulate or work with elements and mastering that. And I'm like, well, by your definition, I'm definitely an alchemist when it comes to cooking, and when it comes to not just that I cook, but how and I do what I do. Then also I said, just for, you know, a more tangible reference, let me Google alchemist definition. And the definition of alchemist is a person who practices alchemy, or a person who transforms or creates something through a seemingly magical process. Now, I did say seemingly magical. I do think magic is just science that is not fully understood. But with that being said, I'm doing what I do to some people. It is a seemingly magical process, but it's not. It's not magic. It's science, which is just me telling you that's my secret. It's not magic. It's science. You know, you don't have to check up my sleeves. You know, it's simple. With that being said, now that we understand what an alchemist is, now you understand what I mean when I say I now refer to myself as an energy or an energy alchemist, and my tools happen to be food in my relationship with nature. With that being said, I have this theory that when you are born with a finite capacity, not a finite amount, but a finite capacity of energy. And you want the positive energy to always bare minimum cancel out the negative energy. But as we exist, whether we want to or not, whether we try to or not, we are constantly expelling energy, both positive and negative. Some energy we expel, like negative energy, it's always a greater impact when expelling it versus positive energy because of how they cancel out. And that's if you're probably a really toxic, like terrible person, if your positive energy doesn't at least neutralize your negative energy. And energy is not, positive versus negative energy isn't one of those things where you really see balance like that. You have to know the time, or you have to know how to use your energy. And the only person who loses when you indulge in negative energy or when you're affected by negative energy is you. This is not to say, not to be upset about things that you should be upset about. I'm just saying that when it comes to your energy, It's precious, and the capacity that you have for it is precious, which means that even though you can receive as much positivity or positive energy, people can give it to you, or situations, environments can give that to you, you can only intake so much. And you want to get to the point where you're intaking so much that you can't, and there's no room for any negative energy. But it works the opposite way as well. If you intake too much positive or negative energy, it takes away from the positive energy in you. So it's not a matter of pretending like bad things don't happen, or never being upset and stuff like that. It's a matter of realizing that you can only hold so much of any kind of energy at a time. And so you want to make sure that when you do get upset, it's over things really worth getting upset about. When you are sad, or when you are in a lower state of vibration or energy, you want to make sure that it's warranted and that it's something that actually deserves that kind of energy. And you also want to make sure that the stuff that you're excited about as well is stuff worth being excited about, truly worth being excited about, or, that positive energy is positive energy that is worth having. There are some positive energies are stronger than others, greater than others. It might be the same amount of energy expelled, but the quality of that energy, you want to make sure that you're intaking quality positive energy, and you're also expelling deserving negative energy. Hopefully you get what I mean by that. Bringing me on to the next aspect of this. When it comes to how I do what I do, a major part of that is not just understanding energy, but using this little secret that's not about to be a secret, because I'm about to share it with you guys and put it in my cookbook, of recycling energy. Sorry, I just want to take a moment to recognize that I'm gorgeous. I'm so cute. I'm sorry, because you look at the camera, but you see the screen and you see yourself, and it's just like, Birch, you bad. You bad. But okay, that's enough of that. Anyways, when it comes to doing what I do, I realize that I've kind of tapped into this this kind of little secret here that I want to share, and that I'm insistent on sharing with our brothers and sisters. And that is, in the world we live in today, even though I'm always pressing that we should grow our own food, start a garden, start something, grow something, I'm always pressing that. It's not just so that you can have access to free food. It's not just so that you can control the quality of the food you're intaking. It's because of what happens as well. And those things are important as well, and they're huge factors as well. But it's because of what happens when you reconnect with nature like that, and you put energy into the soil, and you nurture the growth of the seeds, and what happens when that grows, and it grows something that's sustainable to you. When you grow your own food, when you have a garden, you have essentially started your own energy reserve. My garden has grown from 3 plants, and I remember my first 3 plants, but it's grown from 3 plants to over 300 plants, and I've got maybe 60, 70 different types of plants growing. With that being said, that's a lot. That's a lot, but it's been able to help me in more ways than just surfacely happening. And that's a separate video, or you can follow, check it out on my Instagram page. I talk a lot about how having a garden, all the different ways that it's helped me. But the one thing I haven't talked about until just now is this energy process. My garden is one of like 3 safe spaces that I have. And even if I'm upset and I go into my garden, it's only a couple of minutes before I'm in a good space again. I'm back zenned out, or even in a better mood, because I'll just get so excited looking at the plants blooming or sprouting or coming in, or the snap peas or the tomatoes, or it's just just seeing it, it just makes me so happy. It makes me so excited. And you know I'm being genuine about this when you check out my business Instagram and you see how happy I am every time I'm out there and I'm, showing y'all, oh, look at this plant and look at how this one's growing and this, that, and the third, So the part of the reason why I feel like part of the reason why I'm able to be in such a positive space in my garden isn't just because it's a garden, but it's because I put positive energy. Like, my shit was literally grown with positivity, good vibrations, and love. All of it. Just love and positive energy. Love and positive energy. I'm out there. I'm using my bare hands. I'm using the soles of my hands to connect with the soil to receive the energy that it naturally emits and transfer it through my shit, however, just to expel it back. It's a whole recycle process just in that action alone, just in putting your hands in the soil and storing your positive energy into and your loving energy into that soil. And then you mix in, I use compost. I keep my shit very simple, very natural. Sun, soil, compost. What do I use for compost? The scraps of vegetation that I have not eaten or cannot eat. I either regrow it, like with the bottoms of my green onions, or I put it in my compost water and then I mix it with the soil and I regrow other things. But that whole process of putting that energy, that life force into the soil is one, it's only a little draining because it does take energy, like physical energy to do, and it'd be 97 degrees and I'd be out there doing all kind of pulling weeds, planting shit, and all kinds of stuff. And, it's a lot of work, but even the type of energy I expel to get that work done, it's a positive energy. It's exhausting, but it's not draining, if you can understand what I mean by that. But when you're out there and you're witnessing these life transformation processes and you are not just witnessing it, but you realize that you're a part of it and that your very energetic footprint, your energy DNA, I guess, is literally, you see what it's done and how it's helped things to grow and whatnot. That also is a realization that generates positive energy and allows me to bring together those that energy and that love and bring it back to myself as well. So we've already gone over 2 ways that growing your own food is like storing energy in a reservoir. And so we're going to take it to the next step, harvest. My garden is one of the things I miss the most since I've been out here nearly a month now. My garden and my friends. But harvest, when I'm out there with my big bowl or my strainer or my big plate and I'm picking food for my salad or for, just grabbing extra ingredients to throw in the meal I'm preparing in the house or whatever, it feels amazing. And it's beautiful. And the food just tastes so good. I've never had a snap pea taste better than the snap peas I've grown. I've never had a tomato taste better than the tomatoes I've grown. And the only ones that have come close are the ones that my grandma grows. But even still, her gardening process is way different from mine. So hers tastes good simply because of the energy I've attached to it by it being from my grandmother's garden. But then you have mine, and it's not just the fact that I grew it myself, but it's the fact of the quality of the energy I put into it and the whole relationship process I've had and how natural that process is. And then, this, that, and the third. So, mine's are going to taste better. Sorry, Grandma. But yeah, when I'm out there grabbing ingredients and I'm looking at my plate or my bowl or my strainer and it's filling up with these beautiful colors and, this beautiful produce, when I'm picking my mustard greens. Ooh, and mustard greens taste so especially when you grow them yourself. I ain't never had greens better than the greens I grew. And maybe it's because I grew them. I don't know. But you know what? People who eat my greens and are fortunate enough to eat the ones that I've grown, will attest to that as well. Shit's flame. It's just something inexplicable about it. You just feel like you just feel better when eating my food. And the fact that it's vegan has a lot to do with it. The fact that it's natural, the fact that, the ingredients that I can bring from my garden, I do, all that's going to have something to do with it, but it's also the energy, because you can go to the grocery store and get organic produce, or if you're lucky, find some natural produce and whatnot, and it'll still, do you better, but it's not going to be the same quality as the shit you grew yourself or the shit I grew. I'm using the term shit loosely because we know it's not shit. I don't even use manure in my garden. So I cuss sometimes. It's just the point. Anyways, with that being said, we come to harvest. And, just the action of gathering your harvest and realizing how amazing nature is and being grateful to Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and also being proud and appreciative of your collaboration with her and the fact that you are a tool and an instrument in connection and in conjunction with her. Like, we a team. Me and planet Earth, me and Mother Nature, we a team. And with this team, I take care of Mother Earth, she take care of me, and I try to get other people to take care of Mother Earth and she take care of them. It's a mutual relationship where, so long as we're both doing our parts, it's a holistic positive exchange. And depending on how much energy you put into that will determine the quality of that positive exchange that you have with Mother Earth. With that being said, you take the food, you go into the kitchen. Even my process for preparing food, I like to set an environment. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. I like to make sure that the kitchen is clean. I like to have some music playing, or if I don't have music playing, I'm singing and dancing. I'm always going to be singing and dancing, or dancing and moving and wiggling a little bit in the kitchen. Or on days where I could use a little more silence or just some background noise, I'll have like Planet Earth on the TV at home, or something, Homestead Rescue, something like that, something I like to watch that I can learn from, and that, that isn't a succubus of energy. When I cook for other people, I love to have them in the kitchen with me. Not just for the educational process, not just, to influence them, but because normally when people are in the kitchen with me, they're in a good mood. And it's like using their positive energy to feed me and to fuel me allows me to put even more positive energy into what I'm preparing without it draining me as much as it would if I was just expelling the energy and not receiving any back immediately. So being around people in a good mood who are excited or happy and whatnot while I'm cooking is a way for me to be able to put more into the food without me exhausting myself as much. So when you're in the kitchen and you're cooking for your best friend or your homeboy or your homegirl, or, a customer or a client, and everyone's in a good mood and feeling good, this and the third, by the time the food is ready, I'm not like, fuck this shit, I'm going to sleep. It's like, I still have enough in me to be able to continue to maintain this level of positive energy during our consumption and during the rest of our time, being around each other. So that's during the cooking process. Now, mind you, not 100% of the food that I make comes from my garden, which means that when I am preparing organic and natural fruits and vegetables from the grocery store, or vegetation from the grocery store, the cooking process, I still put that same amount of energy, positive energy into it. And I kind of, use it to compensate. I have to expel more energy to compensate for the energy that was put into these foods by the people who grew it, and to compensate for the fact that it was not grown with this energy initially. So it does take more out of me to prepare food that I did not grow on an energetic level, but I still, because I have reservoirs in these safe spaces where I store my energy and these people around me who put positive energy into me, I'm able to prepare those foods and it's almost going to be almost the same as the food I grew myself that I prepare for somebody. Just know that if you're a person who has eaten from my garden, especially like if I invited you over, sat you down and prepared you a meal, that's some special sacred shit. And you need to really make sure that you appreciate that in its fullest capacity, and that you really are grateful for that experience, because that's some shit. That's some next level shit right there. It is some next level shit right there. You go find me, you know, please do. I kind of challenge you guys too to find me other sisters who do what I do the way that I do it, because I would love to be their friends. Um, I love making new girlfriends and whatnot, especially sisters who are on the same shit that I'm on, because it's difficult and it's a little lonely sometimes. But having a strong sisterhood and people who are on the same shit, that stuff is really dope. So I challenge all of you to find you a sister who's on the shit that I'm on. And if you can't find her and you are a sister, become that sister and then find me so that we can be on that shit together. If you're not that sister and you want to become that sister and you need some help, find me so that I can help you get there so we can be on that shit together. But anyway, anyways, back to, yeah. So then we have this process of preparing the food. And then, so this food has been prepared with all this love and positivity and high energy, and quality energy. So then, when it is time for me to eat, whether I'm preparing something for myself, or whether I'm preparing something for other people and I'm going to eat too, or whether I'm just preparing something for other people, that energy is being consumed. It's literally being consumed. And we know that food is energy. It's stored energy. The quality of that energy and how much energy it is really depends on what the food is, how it was grown, and how you prepare it. I don't like to cook my veggies all the way through, because you're literally killing the life force in them. So a lot of times I'll prepare the food like the ancient grains, or like maybe the mushrooms is in the third. I'll prepare those and then add the vegetables afterwards, after I've already cooked those, and I'll just let the heat from the food that I've already cooked kind of, cook down the veggies just a little bit. Plus also, I like the taste of vegetables, so it would make sense that they taste like vegetables in the food, and you get those flavors. And that's another thing, knowing how to use flavors, knowing which flavors trigger what feelings, and how to get that happy dance out of people when they taste the food and they taste the food, not just the salt, but they taste each ingredient and they realize how good each ingredient tastes and shit like that. That's some serious shit. That's some next level shit, y'all. But that consuming process, that energy consume. I'm sorry, my laptop is not on a stable surface, so it's wobbling. So I'm probably just bouncing around to you guys. But that energy consumption process is how also when I eat the food that I prepared, even if I prepared it for other people, but I've made myself some too. When I eat this stuff, it puts that positive energy back into me. I always feel good after I finish eating. I always feel more energized, unless I'm like high as shit and I was eating on some munchies type cheese. But also another thing that I've done is that I don't smoke weed as often as I used to. I do eat it, and I still don't eat it as often as I smoked it, but I eat it mostly now, because combining it with food the way that I do, with the natural vegan food and the process that I do, it's such a different experience, and the way it affects you is so much more positive, so much more bright and healing, and especially when you grow it and then you infuse it into the oils and the water yourself, and then you turn it into juice or a meal or some pancakes or whatever dessert or whatever. It's just this vegan life food. It's a whole nother experience in consumption. And other people who have tried my stuff actually get a lot of healing And they feel better, aches and pains are gone, their mood and their like psychology and their energy just like it raises, and it shifts towards in a more positive nature and ways. So a lot of people tell me those are experiences that are unique to their experience, their cannabis experiences, and it's unique to what they receive from me and the products that I give them, with my whole infusion process, and especially with the stuff that I grew myself. Because one, I don't grow it like they do at dispensaries or from dispensary plugs and stuff like that. I keep it 100% natural. It is probably the purest, most natural stuff you're going to find, and it still is potent, but it's also still full of all the natural healthy benefits that comes with consuming the plant. And I don't just use the bud, I use the stems and the leaves and the roots and this and that for different things and stuff as well, because that stuff is important too. It's nutrient dense as well, it's healing as well. But the point isn't that just and even if you're transitioning to vegan or you're going to be vegan, it's not just about making sure that you just eat, natural things or raw things or whatever. It's about making sure that the quality of the natural things, of the produce, of the vegetation, of the energy you're receiving. It's about making sure that the quality is on point. So you can't just eat anybody's food. If you're on this vegan thing to reach your higher self and to really elevate holistically, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and environmentally, geographically, if you're trying to elevate yourself on every plane, then being conscious and consistent about the quality of energy that you're putting into yourself is going to be extremely important to you. And you're going to get people calling you bougie or extra and all that kind of shit and whatnot. I get that too, but those people are normally people who do not understand energy the way that you now do and the way that I do. So they don't realize that it's not you being bougie, it's you loving yourself. And that's going to be the final point that I get into with this video. It has gone over a little bit, but y'all be all right. You should not be cooking for nobody if you don't love yourself. Should not. But you cannot ever expect to reach your full potential as a chef, as someone who cooks for other people, as an energy alchemist. You cannot expect yourself to reach that full potential if you do not love yourself, because you cannot give love if you don't already have love within you. And also, it's not just about loving yourself, it's about making sure that you have enough love to give to where you don't take away from loving yourself by giving love to other people. And even as someone who's as seasoned as I am, I've still got time to grow and mature in this aspect as well. I mean, I'm only 23 and I've only been loving myself for about 3 years now, holistically loving myself. And even now, even when it comes to things like a potential relationship or whatever, I have to find somebody who is for sure going to love me, because it has to make sure that it still compensates. Because if I love myself and then I'm giving some of my self-love, I'm giving the love that I would normally reserve for myself to someone else, I have to make sure that that person also has love to give to me to fill in whatever gaps that may be there. As I grow older and stronger in this area of my life, I do believe that I'll get to a point where I have enough self-love, but I have such a surplus of love to where I can give that love to somebody and not, and it not be detrimental if that person does not give the love back. But just off of my whole principle that Black women should always date equal to or past their level, I'm not going to have this surplus of energy and just give it to someone to take, because I know I'm worth more than that and I know what I deserve. And there's someone who's going to have that surplus of energy and be able to just be like, oh, here, have some. Oh, here, you have some, type tease. That's where I'm at with it, But you can't do it. You have to make sure that you have genuine love in your heart for yourself that's got to be there. If you don't love yourself, you cannot give love in any form, no matter what alchemy you use or whatever type crystal you wear or all that other kind of stuff or whatever. If you don't have that self-love, you cannot share love with other people. It is impossible. If you don't know what love is within yourself and have that within yourself, then whatever you're giving out, that's just not love. Because you don't have it to give. If you don't love yourself, you don't even have love to give in the first place. And when you give love, you have to make sure that you're receiving love as well. Otherwise, you give it all away and you're left with nothing. And then you don't love yourself, and then the cycle thus continues. So just keep that in mind. When you're cooking for people, when you're preparing things for people, when you're doing things, planning things. I do event planning as well. I do hosting and stuff like that as well as catering and cooking and all these other kind of things that I do. And I always have to make sure that I am in a positive space and a happy space to be able to be successful and effective at what I do. So hopefully, you guys have a better understanding of energy, the importance of it. Hopefully you will apply some of the things I told you guys on how to recycle and renew and store your energy. And hopefully you keep up on the things I've said about the importance of making sure you have people around you, safe spaces and places around you that give you positive energy when you are running low, and that you can put positive energy into so that it can continue to have something in store for when you are running low. And I guess let's get the discussion popping in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good shit. Let's get this information out there to our people and start really causing a vibrational shift. You have to know yourself, to love your people, to want better. And there's more to that list, to want better for your people. That's the pro-Black revolutionary aspect and the raising of consciousness. All that comes at the foundation is know yourself, to love your people. And that's what we're here to do. So if you haven't already, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good shit, make sure you check out the links in the description box. And also, what am I missing? I might be missing something. But, well, on that note, peace and love, family. Remember, you have to know yourself, to love your people. Don't get mad, do better. And I know I'm forgetting the third one, but if you remember, comment it. All right, y'all. Peace.